Welcome back to another video. Today, as you can tell with the Miata being in there, we're going to work on the Miata. Pretty self-explanatory there, I know. It's hard to believe, right? Today we're going to be installing a slave cylinder because it leaks, clutch doesn't disengage with the crab, so you can still kind of drive it. Can't really get it if you're in neutral, can't really get into park or reverse, but you can still like kind of get to disengage, to shift in between gears. But you can tell under the car. I'll show you here in a minute where it's all, bottom of the trans and the oil pan are all covered in uh, brake fluid from the slave cylinder, and you can see where it's all spreading out under the car. And so we might as well replace it because I want to make this car just fun to drive, not trying to be a pain to drive. So, and as you can tell, since I haven't really worked on the car since the last video, only thing I did do is I took the stock lug nuts off that were just rusted and without a cap, and I just put some black ones on it, acorn ones, and it was a lot better if you ask me than the rusted ones. As you can tell, the brakes are rusted, so we'll probably be doing a big brake kit eventually, but I don't know when we'll get to that. Probably next few videos, probably we got this, and then I want to fix, we got a rust spot right here on both sides. I already got the patch panels for them, so I'd like to get that done soon. I don't know if that'll be next video or not, but and then I'll do a whole bunch. I gotta try to do a whole bunch of body work. I got some dents in it, some scratches. Cause my goal is I'll probably just do all the body work and then go ahead and wrap the car. But we'll see how it goes from there. There's no promise to guarantee what's going on. If you hear any like a humming noise throughout the video, it's just my furnace kicking on and off. I got it on because it's kind of cold. Also, it's like midnight right now, so it doesn't help. So anyways, we'll just jump right into it now. Slave cylinder's right there. There's 2 bolts holding it on. And go ahead and I'll go ahead and disconnect the 2 bolts. There's one on top, one on the bottom, and then just let it hang there for a little minute. And then put a oil pan under it to let the brake fluid just drip into it. So I'm gonna try to do that. Just disconnect the line real quick and go ahead and switch them out real quick, so I don't have to try to stop the leaking or anything. Just go ahead and try to switch it out real quick. I don't know how well it's gonna go, but we'll find out pretty quickly. Okay, there's 2 bolts in it. There's one right here, and then there's one up on top, so I just be pretty much right above it, just behind it. I know you won't be able to see it, but it's pretty much right where my finger's at, right there. And they're both 12 millimeter for this. I'm going to be using for the top one. I got a ratchet with an extension on it. For the bottom one, I just figured it'd be easier just to use ratcheting wrench. It's right there, but as you can see, all the fluid on here. Just covered off, coming from over here. Yeah, so it's lost a decent amount of fluid a few times. So figure go ahead and get it changed out real quick. Shouldn't take but a few minutes. So okay, I got the 2 bolts out. We got a pretty easy break out. So I went ahead and got the slave cylinder over here. Get ready. Just make sure if you do this, put a little grease on this so you don't have any squeaking or anything. Made sure this was tight, which it sticks out a lot, but it actually is tight because I looked over there on the one that's up here. Let's see if I can show you guys real quick. But I don't know if you guys can see that, but if you look down there real close, you can see right there. I don't know if you guys can see that little brown thing right there. It actually does stick out about the same amount, so it is good. And then it also is that the line right there is also a 10 millimeter. Preferably you would want a line wrench. I don't have one, so I'm just going to use a 10mm wrench and try to be careful, make sure I don't strip it out. Call it good. I already got my pan on there, drip pan, to try to help contain the mess as much as possible. I spray a little bit of degreaser under it because, as you guys saw a minute ago, it was very oily down there. So I tried to clean it up a little bit, not much, because I'll probably make a little bit of a mess, and I'll probably clean up a little more, but not really too worried about it because, you know, bottom of the car. And I assumed at some point in time I'll have to put a different clutch in this car because the clutch is kind of wearing out a little bit. I mean, it's not bad still, but definitely, you can definitely smell it if you try to push the car real hard. So I have to put a different clutch in eventually. And when I take the clutch out, I have to take the transmission out, so I just clean it all up then when I get there. So, anyways, walk in and get that line popped off and try to get it switched over and talk to you when I get that done. And then after that, all we gotta do is put those 2 bolts back in and bleed it, and she'll be good. So, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy installation, but figured I'd still make a video on it, try to keep you guys informed. Okay, well, I got it all installed down there, all switched out. So, and word of advice, if you do this, make sure you break the nut on the line, for the clutch line. Go ahead and break that loose before you loosen the 2 bolts, because otherwise it can be kind of a pain. Like, I loosened up the 2 bolts on the transmission and then took it off, and then went to break that loose and realized and put one of the bolts halfway back in so I could break it loose. You probably could do it without putting the bolts back in, but it'd be a lot more pain. So my suggestion is go and do that. And with that being said, I'm going to try to put some more fluid in the clutch reservoir and go and pump it a little bit and see if we can get any to come out. Because when I took the way this is, like, on this clutch, it like goes over the top. Like, here's the line for it, and it follows the firewall. So you can't actually just like fluid won't drip out of it if there's no fluid in it. And when I took the slave cylinder off, there was no fluid dripped out. So, and the reservoir is pretty low, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some fluid in there and just go ahead and try to pump it through a little bit, see if I can get it to build up some pressure. It's also, so I'll do that, get back with you guys, see what happens. I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, I started pumping the pedal. It went down a little bit, but I'm just gonna go ahead and see if definitely a little bit building up on the foot, but not much. Just making sure this looking, as you can see, it looks like we're all good. No leaks yet. So with that in mind, I should be good to go and try to bleed the system and get all the air out, and should be good then. Okay, well, I got the clutch all bled and got pressure built up on the pedal on there, so we're all good down there. So we're pretty much done. And also, just a little reminder, if you get any brake fluid on your paint, make sure you get it off immediately. It's very corrosive and it will eat the paint. But besides that, like I said, this is actually a pretty easy installation. It took me roughly 45 minutes, I think it was, so that ain't too bad. Probably could have done it faster. I was kind of just taking my time, just moseying pretty much. But overall, not too bad. Well, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. So, yeah. Well, you all have a good day.